Welcome back to the T-Bird podcast, coming at you on the 26th of April, 2025. And this is episode 12. And I have labeled this episode as, Is It Time to Be Bullish? So, which is a very interesting question to explore at the moment with regards to where crypto is at, sentiment-wise. Specifically in the context of the Hex and PulseChain ecosystem, I think it's definitely a time to be bullish, more than ever, especially with regard to the lifespan of the PulseChain's existence since its launch, and it launched around May 13 of 2023, so nearly 2 years since launch. And regardless of the fact that the prices are still relatively low, we have been seeing some positive price action and some green candles over the last couple of weeks. And on that note, let's do a little bit of an update on where the prices are at, and maybe just do a little bit of technical analysis as well on Hex, on PulseChain. And we'll just go through a bit of that stuff. So right now, PLS is up 10% in the last 24 hours at 4036, looking good. PulseX, PLSX is up around 10% as well, 4029, just a fraction under 4003. And so ratio-wise as well, which is interesting, between Pulse and PulseX, it's narrowed massively. So in terms of, if you're going to measure value ratio-wise between Pulse and PulseX, yeah, the gap has narrowed increasingly over time since the launch nearly 2 years ago. You've got Hex on PulseChain up 13.5% in the last 24 hours. At a price of 0.007. You've got Hex on Ethereum, which is up 17%, which at the price of 0.026. And you've got the incentive token, the reward token, which is at up a little over 11% at $1.59. So the price action has been pretty nice, especially even just since yesterday. We're seeing a solid bounce off the 0.066 level. So it kind of came, so the local high currently is at 0.008, and it's wicked up to the 0.008 level as a sort of showing somewhat of a solid resistance level there. And it's come back down. It kind of made formed a local support in the short term at around 0.066, came back up and has come back down to retest that 0.06.5 level. And it's bounced solidly off that level. And now it's it's climbing back up to sort of trying to reach back up to that 0.007 to 0.008 level to sort of see if it wants to break out above that level to start entering into new price discovery in the local time frame, which is cool. So yeah, always nice to see some green candles, especially the amount of downside action that we've seen since late February, early March, when it was officially declared publicly that Richard Hart had beaten the SEC hands down. So it kind of, like I sort of discussed in the last stream or in the previous two streams, that essentially the overall market reaction to the initial market reaction to the big win from Richard Hart and Hex, PulseChain, and PulseX to the SEC, there was a solid, price pump, I think, of about 60-70%, and that sort of acted as a sort of like a knee jerk buy the rumor sort of buy the rumor, sell the news event, and then when that local top was printed, sort of at around just over 2 cents, 2.2 cents, the sell the news sort of played itself out organically since that local top was established, and so a solid amount of washing out has occurred since sort of let's say sort of around that time. Or actually no, the 2 cent level was sort of a local high that was made back in early February, and then the SEC pump, the SEC win pump, took it up to about 1.6 cents. And so now it's sort of forming a nice rounded bottom structure, sort of confirming a double bottom at 0.045, and it's just been grinding / climbing up from there, which is nice to see. Again, this is Hex on PulseChain, and PulseX incentive token, and even Hex on Ethereum are going to be, together with Hex on PulseChain, are going to be tracking each other pretty closely because of their liquidity bonding between each of them. So really nice to see. Now let's quickly pivot over to the numerology and astrology aspect of today. I was definitely super excited about putting out a stream and some content today, being April 26th, specifically for me personally, because 26 is my favorite number, which isn't a coincidence because I'm born on the 26th. And through delving into numerology and astrology quite heavily over the last 12 months, I've come to learn that you ideally want to align align your actions and your intent with matching your own energy. And so I'm born on the 26th, even though it's on a different month. It's not in April, but the 26th energy is still there. So by putting out some content on that in that 26 energy is pivotal for me. And naturally 26, 2 + 6 is 8. So it's an 8-day. And I love putting out energy that's putting out good karma on any 8-day, whether it's the 8th, the 17th, or 26th, or even an 8 universal day. And the universal day or life path day is the primary governing energy of the specific day, even above the day of the month that it falls on as well, which is calculated by adding up all the numbers of the birthday itself. So, for example, April 26, 2025, when you add it all together, 4 + 2 + 6 + 2 + 2 + 5, today's universal day is added up to 3. And so the synergistic nature of this day is a beautiful combination of the 8 energy of the 26 with the 3 energy of the universal day. So when you combine them together, 3 is the number of communication, C is the 3rd letter, 3 is the number of networking, 3 is the number of we can go on to different tangents with regard to the energy of what the 3 represents, but more specifically with regard to streaming content with my channel, it's about communicating with power. And because 8 is the number of power as well as the number of money and karma, and 3 is the number of communication. So it's about, for me primarily, it's about communicating in the context of money and power and putting out good karma in the world, in the universe. So another interesting element that I've noticed about today, alongside being the 26th of the month, is that we're now officially in Taurus, which began about 6 days ago. And Taurus is the 2nd sign. So numerology always supersedes astrology, both in the context of Western astrology or Earth astrology, which is a lot more accurate than Western astrology as well, and even other forms of astrology. So Taurus is the second sign. So Taurus is primarily governed by the 2 energy, and 2 is the number of the peacemaker, the diplomat. 2 is feminine energy. 2 is also the number of sensitiveness. So people that tend to be born with strong 2 energy tend to be more sensitive than people that don't have that 2 energy. So people born on the 2nd, or if you're born on a specific day that has a lot of 2s in your birthday, like even today, for example, April 26th, 2025, you've got digit-wise, you've got the 2 in the 26, and you've got 2025. So you've got 2 2s in the 2025 year. So overall, like on that, I'm speaking on that specifically with the 2025. So specifically, the decade of the 2020s all have 2 2s in the year. So the best way to interpret that essentially is specifically in the decade of the 2020s, people, the energies of each of the years in the 2020s are going to be more sensitive, say, compared to the 2030s, or even especially when we're in the 20-teens. So from 2010 all the way up to 2019, at least in terms of the universal year energy, you at least had a balance of the 1 and the 2, the 1 being the masculine, 2 being the feminine, because 2019, 2015, 2013, you had the 2 and the 1 in there to balance out the masculine and the feminine in the year's energy. And the universal year energy is a very important energetic component to be analyzed and understood in the context of all the other energetic components that are important of the day. So it's primarily important to understand the dominant energies of the specific day, but the universal year energy is also important to understand, especially in the context of the day itself. So I think generally people that are going to be born, babies that are going to be born in the 2020s, decade-wise, overall, I think are going to be more sensitive by nature compared to, say, babies that are going to be born in the 2030s overall. And on that subject too, it's important to keep in mind that basically since the year 2000 onward, babies that are essentially born from 2000 and from the 2000 onwards are generally going to exhibit more feminine energy compared to literally all the babies that were born in the 1900s, because the 20th century was led by the number of 19. And 19 is 19 reduced as 1, because 1 plus 9 is 10, and 10 is reduced to 1, which is the masculine. So the universal year energy, and of course it's the first 2 numbers of the year. So you obviously look at all the numbers that are happening in the universal year energy itself, but specifically the first numbers in the actual string of numbers are the numbers basically that are worth paying attention to the most. But of course, you look at it contextually as well with the whole year and the other numbers. For example, say 2025, you've got 20 and you've got 25. So you've got to look at 20. So going back to what I was saying about the 1900s, you've got the masculine energy with the 19. But then, of course, you've got the last 2 numbers of the year as well to look at in isolation as well, but also contextually with the full year. So I hope that makes sense. So with the being in the 2000s, so every single year in this century is going to be preceded by 20. And so 20 is reduced to 2. Well, 20 is the hidden 11, which I won't get into full detail as to why 20 is the hidden 11. But 20 is also, is the 2. It has the 2 energy in there as well. So it's not just the first number. So it's representing the feminine energy, the more, the peaceful energy, the sensitivity, being sensitive and all that sort of stuff. So definitely something to keep in mind. So let's go a little bit into the primary energy of the day, being the 3. So 3 energy is the number of communication. It's also the number of the creative. So what you'll tend to find is people that are born under very strong 3 energy tend to be very creative. C is the 3rd letter. So when I say C is the 3rd letter, communication, C is the 3rd letter, you can see how numerology is actually encoded in the English language. If you pay attention to the numbers that are actually behind the letters. So yeah, but primarily people that are born, people that are 3 life paths or born on the 3rd, 12th, 21st, and the 30th are the master communicators. They have, more specifically, if you're a 3 life path, your mission in life, in order to level up as a 3 into your next incarnation, is to master communication, whether that's in the form, whether it's in the verbal mode or whether it's in the written mode. But primarily, 3s have the best mouthpieces, and they're also the master networkers. So you're supposed to be out there networking to that, specifically in the energy of this day. This number, the energy of this day, basically tells you that you're supposed to be out there communicating, socializing with other people, even if you're the kind of person that tends to be more introverted and not really too much into talking much, which is, I would sort of classify myself as someone that's much more of a writer than a talker. Tend to be a lot more introverted than extroverted. So for me to really piggyback on that 3 energy, being primarily a 3-day today, is pivotal for me, especially in the context of that 8 energy and working with that 3 energy with that 8 energy as well. Just putting out that really good karma. And also in the context of karma too, 26 is the most karmic number of all the 8s. And the reason for that is going back to what I was saying about vibrational energy is encoded in the English language. So the perfect example of this is understanding the reason why 26 is the most karmic number of all the 8s is because when you reduce the numbers behind the word karma, so when you add the numbers up together, so for example, you've got K is the 11th letter, A is the 1st letter, R is the 18th letter, and when 1 plus 8 is 9, so you reduce that to 9. M is the 13th letter, reduce that. 1 plus 3 is 4, and A is the 1st letter. So when you add 11 plus 1 plus 9 plus 4 plus 1, it adds up to 26, which is reduced to 8. So that perfectly explains why 26 is the most karmic of all the 8s, because karma itself is embodied by the 8 energy, specifically from 26. So when it comes to the 8 energy, people that are born with the 8 energy, money is up and down their whole lives. Either they've got a lot of it, or they don't have, or they have very little of it. It's never in between. And a lot of the good and bad karma that an 8 person that's an 8 life path, or born on an 8 day, the karma that they put out, whether it's good or bad, not only hits them harder than people that are not 8s, but it hits you, the karma, your particular financial situation in a lot of ways is dictated by the good or bad karma that is projected out into the universe by the person that is born on an 8 day or as an 8 life path. So, all right, so let's have a look and see who's up in here. So we've got Hexforce1, good evening from Arizona. Good to see you again. Always a pleasure, brother. Really appreciate your ongoing support for the channel. It means a lot. And I can see we've got 74 people up in here viewing this stream. Appreciate you all tuning in. If you want to support my channel and all the work that I do, you can follow. You can see down the bottom, scrolling past, you've got my Twitter account handle, x.com/TheRealTBirdHex. That is the #1 place to follow and support what I do, alongside this YouTube channel, of course. All the daily updates with regard to crypto, all the content relating to crypto, numerology, and astrology, all that stuff. You'll find on my Twitter account. And yeah, all forms of support are deeply appreciated. So I think I will wind it up shortly. I'm not going to make this stream too long, but I just want to quickly expand further on how powerful it is now for people like myself, many thousands of people who are part of this incredibly strong DeFi crypto network in PulseChain and Hex. The amount of FUD, pain, and even ridicule that we've been subjected to for so many years, with regard to people that just generally just haven't been doing their authentic research into who Richard Hart actually is, his history, his real history, how much he himself has contributed to educating not just the PulseChain and Hex community over the many years, but crypto as a whole. And by extension of that, the amount of work and time and energy that the PulseChain and Hex ecosystem of people have put in to also educate the wider crypto community with regard to how to, whether it's onboarding and offboarding from the fiat currency world into crypto and vice versa. You name it. There's so much to learn and so much to be educated on with regard to how to operate in the decentralized finance world in crypto. It's just there's just so much to it, and we've it really is a sobering moment in the history of crypto as a whole to see Richard Hart fight and actually get the win that he deserves, both as an individual and also for the elite products that he has built over the last 5 years. One being Hex on Ethereum, which launched a little over 5 years ago, and then PulseChain, which is the layer 1 EVM fork of Ethereum 2.0, which launched nearly 2 years ago, and PulseX, of course, which is the decentralized primary token that lives on the PulseChain network. So yeah, so it's a huge win across the board. It's going to galvanize the Hex and PulseChain community so much moving forward, especially given that we're in the bull mania year of 2025. I feel like there's so much to look forward to for the rest of this year. And yeah, very exciting to speculate how the market is going to react over the next 6 to 8 months. And we're already seeing a lot of positive reactions to all kinds of press releases by a lot of mainstream crypto media outlets that are, some of them are still sort of a little bit biased in how they're framing the titles of their articles or their press releases or what have you. But for the most part, what I've been seeing across the mainstream outlets in crypto is, of course, yeah, incredibly positive, giving, progressively giving already just in the last 2 or 3 days, progressively giving Richard Hart and our community the respect it deserves. And nothing would be sweeter than to see the price charts reflecting that respect and acknowledging the power of what this community has achieved over the last 3 to 4 years, and it's constantly growing and building and getting stronger and stronger over time. And yeah, so I'm very excited for everything that's to come. And just to quickly announce again before I wind everything up for today's stream, I have officially confirmed that I've got KG, the founder of Internet Money Wallet. He has confirmed to me that we will be doing a live stream on the 28th of this month, just in a couple of days from now, and it'll be at roughly 9 a.m. CST time, Central Standard Time in the US, for Australian Eastern Standard Time, which is where I'm located. For the Australian viewers, it'll be, so it works out to be roughly midnight, the midnight crossover between the 28th and the 29th. So I'm extremely excited to be talking to KG and it's an honor to have him be a guest on my stream. He's one of the people who's been extremely consistent and extremely contributive to the PulseChain network from the very beginning. And his product, the Internet Money Wallet, has been something that I highly recommend and advocate for everyone that's viewing or will be seeing this stream later on replay or whatever, to definitely utilize the facility that is provided by this wallet as a means of on-ramping and off-ramping between fiat and crypto, but also being one of the primary means by which to learn how DeFi works and how to just everything associated with because wallets are basically one of the key bridges between worlds, and it gives you a good understanding of even how to bridge between chains as well. It's got inbuilt swap features, which is any good wallet should have. But one of the things I most like about the wallet is that it prioritizes security and privacy pretty much above all the other wallets that I've used or come across, and I've dabbled in a whole bunch of different wallets just to test things out. So let's see. So we've got 96 people up in here. Awesome to see. Appreciate everyone as always for coming through. What else? So I think that pretty much covers everything for today. Yeah, it's definitely time to be bullish, and I want to implore people, if you're completely new to DeFi and new to crypto, and you happen to stumble across my channel, I want to implore all the new people to do their real due diligence into PulseChain as an ecosystem, as a network, and Hex especially being the first mover in DeFi. Learn about true decentralization when it comes to the networking side, the coding side, understanding trustless yield, understanding what decentralized finance really means for the future of money itself, and Hex and PulseChain and everything connected to PulseChain specifically is at the forefront of that. So yeah, look into all that stuff. But of course, there's no financial advice on this channel. This is purely for education and entertainment. Hopefully I've entertained and educated you guys on some of the numerology and astrology stuff today, and crypto as well. And feel free to hit me up in the DMs on Twitter if you have any further questions. Please, if you guys can like and subscribe on this channel, helps the algos with getting my channel more prominence. And I think I'll wind that up there. I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.